Cheers, queers! What's on the big gay agenda today, Theodora?
Today we're going to be discussing Exo Kitty Season 3.
Ooh.
Woo!
Oh,
We have a show with a queer lead that has made it past 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Will there be a season 4? I think probably,
probably.
because there's no ending here. I feel like there will be a season 4 and that's going to be the last season.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be.
That's my gut feel.
That's how they're doing it, like the different terms, and then highly doubt.
Also, because I don't foresee them continuing this outside of high school is the
Yeah.
thing. They could, but
What will be the next spin-off
anyway.
of To All the Boys I've Loved Before?
Yeah, that's the real question. What's the next generation? Anyway, so today we're going to get into everything to do with season 3. So if you have not seen season 3 in its entirety, we will spoil it. So please go watch it, then come back to this. And yeah, that's basically it. This is not a scene by scene breakdown. This is going to be like all of our other coverage of Exo Kitty season 1 and season 2. So also if you want to get caught up, go check out our other episodes. We also have select reaction episodes on YouTube to season 1, season 2, and the entirety of it on our Patreon if you want more Exo Kitty content. But today we're just going to be overviewing the things we liked, didn't like, and everything in between about Exo Kitty season 3.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I think we have to start with the obvious, which is that the Kitty and Minho shippers got their fill this season.
They did. If they're pissed off,
They did.
I don't know what's wrong with them, okay? You got everything.
Well, I feel like they're gonna be pissed off at Kitty being like, I don't trust him. They're gonna be mad about that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But so yeah, okay, so we have to just say we were wrong. We thought that was the red herring ship. They are in fact the endgame ship. There's too much symbolism now at this point with Minho, Kitty, the tree, all the they explicitly had a parallel going on with LJ and Peter and Minho and Kitty that made it very predictable, but they're the endgame ship. That's just with Kitty. That's just what it is. So overall, and I'm not mad about that. Kitty is a bisexual woman. She can do whatever she wants. That was not erased. It's fine. I thought they were very cute when we didn't have the drama that we must have.
Yeah, honestly, they
on between them.
are fairly. They
were cute. It's nice to see them happy. They were cute. Yeah, I'm not mad about it at all. Like, it was nice to actually see them happy in a season, like more happy than not.
That's
overall.
true.
Because they've been the will they won't they for a while, so we got a change in tone between the two of them, so that was kind of nice to see, like in more than like 5-second bits, like the teaser.
Yeah,
bits.
and actually have conversations where they talk.
Yes. Yes, they actually talk. Although Kitty really needs to work on her insecurities, and that was a theme this season.
Yeah. Speaking of Kitty, let's talk about her in the first episode because she was really self-sabotaging her. Like, she's really good at self-sabotaging herself, but like
100%.
This episode in particular, because she was looking forward. Well, first of all, she bulldozed her asking to go on the world tour, so she never actually ends up going. And
I know. Bastards.
Which, girl, you had the opportunity to go around the world. You take that opportunity. I understand that she ended up going to be with her sister, but like,
well, her sister came up, and Kitty's gonna choose family. Yeah. But yeah, no. Prior to her knowing that, she sabotaged herself.
Yeah. But then she was like, "Okay, I'll go to Busan with him and have romantic time together, alone time together." Yet, she got upset when she wasn't going to have alone time with him, when she's the one who invited the boys to Busan.
Yeah, but she did that for her, because she's like, I need to know if he likes me. Please wingman me. At the expense of Q and his relationship. He's like, oh, I really want alone time with my boyfriend. And Kitty's like, my plot line is more important because I'm the main character. You need to come with me and sacrifice your relationship for me. It's like, girl.
I'm number one on the call.
No, I know. And then she ended up...
You go do what I say.
Seriously, but then and she just walks around life like that. But then to your point, that ended up backfiring majorly for Kitty. So yeah, it's her insecurities. That's what I mean. Her insecurities are her own worst enemy. That was her theme this season, was working on that. And did she work on that?
The issue, I think, is that every season it's did she work on it? Because we seeing the same traits throughout every season with Kitty, and it's like she doesn't learn. I feel like every single season we
Uh-huh.
have been like, Kitty, stop interfering in relationships. Kitty, stop doing this. Stop doing this. And then we get the same thing the next season.
Okay. I have in my notes. It's like the writers are allergic to character growth for Kitty, not other
No, just
characters,
Kitty.
just Kitty. It's just Kitty, and it's really annoying after 3 seasons because, and I understand that meddling is her hallmark trait. That is her hallmark trait in the family of this whole interconnected with all the movies and stuff. But like Kitty doesn't actually grow as a character, and it's getting annoying because like this is supposed to be a like coming of age story because it's set in high school. But what has she learned? I don't think she's learned anything.
Definitely not
She
schoolwork.
learned a little bit of Korean
Oh,
off
yeah, she did
screen.
learn Korean off screen. I don't know where that came
Off
from.
screen. So it just I'm annoyed. Yeah, I have a whole rant about that once we get into her and her cousin, but okay, before we get into that though, I just want to say something we joke about off screen that is now canon. It is canon. There is no consensus on how to pronounce Mito's name. There is no consensus, and it's canon.
Well, okay.
Mito, nobody says it the same way.
This season, I would say that's Minho because everyone
Yeah,
except
right.
Kitty says Minho, which makes it. No, I don't understand why the main character.
I don't
Why did no
understand.
one on set be like, "All right, guys, this is how we're pronouncing his name"? Because it's not even like, oh, the
Seriously.
Americans pronouncing it differently. No, because Q
No, it's
pronounces it
not.
Minho. It makes no
No,
sense.
everyone does
And
it
I'm
wrong.
so sorry for whatever the pronunciation is. Mino is kind of like stuck in my head at this point, but we'll probably say both going back and forth because
No,
that's
it's canon that you can say it either way. That's the thing. They established that it's
all right,
canon.
that's fair.
And like Mino, the character, does not correct anybody. So like it is canon. There is no consensus on how to say his name. So you can say his name however you want, apparently, because like ExoKitty has made it canon that you could do that. Which is wild.
But it was definitely very not jarring, but just like interesting hearing it.
There's no consensus.
You know what? I kind
Also,
of
like
love it.
accents are a
Yeah.
thing, so it could just be an accent thing. The way Mino himself says things in a British accent, so it's like his English will sound different from Kitty, who's saying things in an American accent. So maybe it's just an accent thing, and it's like
And Q's
you
like,
could say
I'm gonna go with
that's how you pronounce his.
their pronunciation of it.
No, but like if he's saying if he says one word in British English and it sounds completely differently because of the accent, but Kitty says it's the same word, like maybe that's just the situation going on here that's being canonized, which is fine because it's an international school. People are gonna have different
Mhm.
accents. But to your point, even people who speak in an American accent say nobody says it the same way, which is it's just funny because he's a main character and it's like that's a detail the writers of like the producers are just like, it's just odd. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just like weird. It's just weird. I've never encountered that in
Yeah,
television.
because it's like not weird. It's like just interesting to choose to like just ignore that, or and if it's on
That's
purpose,
what I
like it's
mean.
weird that it's
He's a main
that
character.
thing that they're choosing to do. But who
They're
knows?
just ignoring that detail. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. What else do you want to talk about?
Um, I mean, we can keep talking about Kitty, but that might
Up
lead
to you.
into some ranting. I would just say that going along the lines of what we were talking about previously, it was a little painful watching Kitty always trying to fix things because like she thinks that she's the best matchmaker and problem solver despite everyone around her telling her otherwise, especially at that music video shoot for Eunice when she was just trying to be
Yes.
helpful. I was like, girl, the best thing you can do right now is be a fly on the wall because that's what they need.
Yeah. I know. You're not part of the
And
production.
then like she ends up just spilling juice all over Eunice. And this is after her stealing Eunice's dress. Now, granted, Yuri put her
Yeah, that
in
was a
this
giant.
dress. Why
Correct.
Yuri thought that that was even a good idea, I don't understand.
I mean, Yuri was drunk, wasn't she? So, like, you
That's
can't
true. That is
100%
true.
blame her. But, like, yeah, no, that was just be like, yeah, I'm gonna take clothes out of a random closet on a mega yacht. That's a great idea. Like, that was insane. For yeah, like, she was not, oh, like, mentally all there. So, like, but Kitty was sober and was like, yeah, let's do it. Like,
Yeah, you're like,
girl,
no common sense
you
there
should have stopped that.
whatsoever. And
I don't know. No comments. But like this is this. I think yeah. I think that the theme of this season was just like Kitty has been chasing men and women, boys and girls for like 2 seasons after she's like left Day, and then she's like, I'm floundering trying to figure my shit out, which is like normal. That's normal coming of age stuff. And then she like finally gets somebody in a monogamous ish situation, and then is super insecure because she doesn't know what to do when she's in that situation. She's always pushing other people to get in that situation. Now here she is and doesn't know how to handle it, and so like she's fumbling everything,
mhm.
which is like valid. That's a valid coming of age thing. But like she like majorly fumbles high stakes shit like poor Eunice's like thing.
But, like, you just seems to be at the brunt end of it every single time,
I know. I feel
and
so bad for you.
to an outsider, it would look like Kitty's obsessed with sabotaging her.
It really does. Like it doesn't read well for
And, like,
Kitty.
something that really has been really bothering me watching it and rewatching this season is that she never goes to check on Eunice after the yacht party.
No, she doesn't.
And, like,
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
if she like, she's such a fixer, and if she truly saw Eunice as her friend, she would have stopped that party. She would have been like, hold up, I can fix this. Let's go," and drag Eunice back, switch the dresses, and make sure everything's right. But no, she only cared about herself in that moment.
Right. It was about Minho. Like she didn't give a shit about Eunice. That's the thing. Like, yeah.
And, like, poor
Uh-huh.
Eunice really does get the shit
I
end
know.
of
Poor Eunice.
everything.
Of the plot lines of everything.
Yeah.
Eunice gets screwed this season.
Oh, poor Eunice.
I know. All right. Speaking of you, before we get back to Kitty, before Eunice, can we go to the speaking of Kitty's insecurity and Eunice? Can we talk about the Minho Eunice situation
Sure.
because he gets to be her manager because coincidence, and then Kitty ends up in an insecurity situation when it comes between the manager and the talent. And I just have to say, for anybody who's mad about this plotline, like the bond between a manager and the talent is basically a very deep partnership that can rival a romantic relationship in terms of time, trust, labor, vulnerability. Like, if you want a great example of what this is really like, go watch the French show Call My Agent, because it very much shows you just how much of their life the manager has to dedicate to the talent. And as an aside, there's a sapphic relationship in there. It's one of my favorites. But so just go check that out. It's queer. But yeah, like so like and Mino is somebody who grew up in the entertainment industry and like would be understanding of or would be prepared for how much time it's going to take to manage somebody like that, especially a rising star who like is going to need to do more than an established star like now to like get her name fully out there. And so like you would think he'd be able to communicate this to Kitty. And maybe he does, and Kitty just it goes in one ear out the other. We just don't see it because it's off screen, because a lot of things happen off screen. But here's the deal, like this whole fuck shit happens when Eunice contacts him to be like, don't tell Kitty, which leads to him lying to Kitty. And I can see some people being like, well, Mino should have never lied to her. Like, yeah, I agree it's wrong that he lied in that situation. However, I understand why he lied, particularly why he lied to Kitty, because see her track record when it comes to sensitive
The
information.
biggest blabbermouth ever.
I know. And like, yes, to be fair to Kitty, Kitty's heart is always in the right place. It is. But her execution is usually messy, and sometimes and something that involves Eunice's privacy like this is something he as the manager is obligated to protect. Like probably legally with like NDAs and shit. So like you can't really get mad at him and be like, "Oh, he's a bad boyfriend because he lied to her there." It's like, no. This was his job, just to do this. And like he was probably like legally obligated to like honestly not tell Kitty about that. Because like what happens when you tell Kitty stuff? Like everything like she immediately starts telling people. And it's like you can't trust she would get arrested because of NDAs, breaking NDAs left and right. Like honestly, they probably should have had her sign one when it came to just being friends with Eunice.
She would get sued immediately because she would break that
I know, that's what I
NDA
mean.
the second she
She
signed it.
would. that's what I'm saying. She would get as far as getting arrested for breaking her NDAs because like she could not be trusted. So I know that that was a point of drama between like Minho and Kitty, but like I think he did the I personally think he did the right thing. Not morally right, but like what was right for that situation because if he would have been like, I have to talk to Eunice, Kitty would have ran. She was so insecure at that point. She would have ran with it, dug shit up on her own. Like, you know what I mean? She would have caused more trouble. Like,
No,
and I
especially
think and Mino knows her well enough is the thing. Like, he knows her extremely well.
and for Eunice to be like, "Don't tell Kitty, I need to talk to you." It had to been something serious. So like, because Eunice didn't seem like
Right.
the type of person to send those
No.
messages willy-nilly. Like, that's why he comes running at the
No.
end when she's like, 911 SOS. And he's like, "What is wrong? I'm here." First of all, love him for that.
Right.
But also, like, the show itself spent a fair amount of time planting in our heads that Eunice is into Mino. Like, especially with the way that she kept
They
they tried,
tried.
they tried. It didn't get me at
They
all.
tried. It
It
did
was
not
it
work.
was only because, like, she kept, like, interfering, like, getting in the middle in the Busan episode, the first episode, and it's just, again, it's the manager
It's the
talent
manager talent
relationship.
situation. Yeah, like, honestly,
But
this season, I will say, was extremely predictable.
yes, it was.
It was
But
extreme
that
everything was predictable about it.
I didn't predict one thing, and that was really bad because I usually predict that, and I didn't. Anyway, they did get a scene in front of the cherry blossom tree, and that's why I was like, "You guys are trying too hard now. You're trying." Yeah.
Exactly, that's what I mean. I'm like,
But,
yeah,
like,
you guys are full of
also,
shit.
what Minho did wrong in that situation was that he didn't notice that it was literally directly outside Kitty's window.
Yeah, that was a stupid place to meet.
Also,
Like, yeah, that was dumb
Eunice
as shit.
never would have told him this information out in I get you could overhear it in the dorms, but, like, you find somewhere else private, that's not private.
I know, that was a really stupid idea for both of them. But also, he didn't know what was going on, to be honest, to be fair to him.
But, like, there's
But,
no
yeah,
that
that was a
happened off
dumb
screen too,
location.
like, where to meet, but what was she like, "Just meet
I
me out
know.
the tree right by Kitty's
Meet me at
window."
yeah, seriously. No, that was the writers trying to be like, "Oh, this see, look, symbolism. There's actually something going on here," even though it's completely obvious that it's not.
Yeah, it's
No, that was for
they
Kitty. That was
tried
for Kitty
so
to
hard
read
in that
into.
scene that it made it not land.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. This season was just so predictable. I had less fun. I will say I had less fun watching this season than the other seasons just because like the writing was it was extremely predictable. Everything was predictable, honestly. I even predicted LJ was coming back. I was like, oh, they're gonna bring her back. They're paralleling Mino and Kitty with Peter. I figured that out for the first episode. I was like, that's why we're doing all that. And then there we go. Like,
Yeah.
it was very predictable. Anyway, the only element that I didn't see coming is Marius. I did not predict Marius because how
No.
could I? He
Yeah,
just kind of
he
showed
just showed
up.
up. I didn't
So,
predict
any thoughts about him?
well, first, I didn't predict, just like with the storyline we were talking about, I didn't predict that, Eunice thought she was pregnant. I should've.
Oh, yeah,
But
no, I
yeah,
didn't.
no, again, I think it probably briefly crossed my head, but I didn't think that they were gonna go there.
Oh, actually, wait, before we go to Marius, on that thought, something that I did actually like, really, I thought was a good thing, and I'm surprised they wrote it in there with Eunice, is the fact that, so just to round out the Eunice thing, I feel bad for her on multiple fronts. She went through hell this season, but I do understand the plot line of being like, I got my dream, it's not what I want. I tried it,
Yeah.
it's not for me, I'm gonna step back. Like, good for her. That's a real thing. The other thing I liked about her plot line is the pregnancy fake out thing is real, like what she went through, because like with women they don't, because we don't talk about sex education in like America, or like what women's bodies actually go through. So like that is a thing. Like if women get so stressed out, the body is like, now is not the time to harbor life, and that can alter your menstrual cycle and stuff. So that's a real thing that women can go through that like maybe most women don't know about because we're not allowed to learn about our bodies because patriarchy. So I'm surprised they had that in there. I'm like, that's actually a real thing, and they actually put it in the show. And I'm surprised because of how just like coincidental and fantastical everything was this season. I was like, that is real. She actually got a real plot line
Yeah.
that I was surprised, and it's not common. So I applaud them for doing that. That was a good touch to have that like moment with Eunice and Day where they were talking, and she was like
Yeah,
explaining, like, no, I was
I
just so
loved
stressed out. I think this happened to me.
I loved
Yeah,
Eunice and Day. They're such wholesome characters, and, like, they're so good together because they
yeah, they
truly
were
do
cute.
care about each other, and, like,
They're
rewatching. Yeah,
unproblematic.
they're the only
Amongst
unproblematic.
all the
Yeah,
problematic people, they're the
basically.
most
Um,
unproblematic.
when I was rewatching the show, I did see, like, they did try to drop a hint that it was Day, because when he brought the
Oh yeah.
macarons to the music video show, he's like, "This is her favorite from Paris, her Paris stop," which I mean, like, could easily be played off like she talked about them all the time, like on the phone, but that was them trying to be like, "Hey, pay attention to this."
I mean, also, like, I wouldn't have been wrong. I mean, this because this is a wholesome quote, air quote, high school show, but like, she easily could have hooked up with the star because why not? She's getting into fame. Like, fuck the hot guy. Like, go for it, Eunice. We don't care. We ain't judging you, girl. Like, but we had to add some morality in there. That's why it was Day.
Yeah.
Because we're always teaching life lessons, like Kitty is. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at her. I mean, I feel bad for her because she like went through it emotionally this season. But I liked her plot line honestly, and the resolution with Day and Day getting his like family, getting the restaurant and all of that was really cute too. Like I like their plot lines. I thought they were good.
Yeah, I thought they were very good. I liked seeing the interaction between Eunice and Minho and all of that. We can talk about that in a little bit too when we get more into Minho. But
Sure.
yeah,
All right, Marius. Back to
Marius.
Marius. Any thoughts on him? Who's the wild card this season?
Um, Marius, I really did not like when he showed up. You're not supposed to like him. He's getting in the way of everything. He's ruining everything. I did. I'm glad, like, that this queer triangle did get so much screen time though, because it was like showing that they really did care about the other characters. It's not, we did get a lot of storylines, and this is probably, like, I would say plot B, because we focused a lot on this story arc. And Marius, he grew on me, I will have to say. And like, he really pissed me off at first, but I'm glad they didn't have him be the instigator for too long. Like, he was for like 2.5, 3 episodes. And then he became more likable when he talked to Kitty and actually like was real and figured out where his actions were coming from and talked to Q about what was going on. I mean,
Hmm.
this whole triangle, uh I just, first of all, it just makes me think, is it really that hard to not cheat on the person you are with currently? Because like that's what this show makes it seem like. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, there's just one thing that I really liked with Marius and Q, and it's when Q was going through Marius's phone and trying to delete the photo that he sent to him over the summer, and Marius
Mhm.
tells him, "I deleted the photo, but you can't delete the fact that you sent it."
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
good
it was
line.
so good because, like, it's the absolute truth, and Q needed, um first of all, Q needed to mention it to Jin when he informed him of who Marius was. And then also he needs to think about, there's a reason that he did send it in the first place. And like that's what he has to figure out. Cuz you don't just do that out of
Mhm.
nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I have the love triangle situation as a different point, but I'll get to them after to
Okay.
piggyback off you. But first, I just want to talk about Marius as a person. So I agree. I loved him as the villain, honestly, in the beginning. To your point, like even though like yeah, I don't know, I liked him as the villain because he was basically Q's scorned ex. And like, again, we've been in this situation where we have like exes, like Kitty was Day's ex, but then they like did it as this like cutesy thing, not really like
Mhm.
jealousy, like coming back to ruin my life kind of plotline. So like because we have people in more established relationships now, we have the ability to do that plot line. So I liked him coming in out of nowhere, being this like huge part of their friend group. Excuse me. He comes back. He's like a chaos agent in terms of like the stability of all the couples. And then like he comes in as the scorned ex and just like starts scorching stuff. So I liked that. First of all, I thought it was good drama situation based on where all the characters were. But to your point, they humanize him when you actually get to know him because you don't actually know him. You just have this superficial image of who he is, how Minho sees him. He's like, oh, he's the party guy, like this and that. And then Q's like, oh, he was like my closeted boyfriend who left me and like for heterosexuality at some point. And then like, so you get all these like negative and then like superficial impressions, but then like, it's because the character hasn't opened up. And then when the character opens up, you're like, oh, he's a human being, which is just how humans work. So loved all of that. Again, very predictable based on this show. But what I didn't predict and what I loved, and my favorite scene with him is when they're at the amusement park and he has the heart to heart with Kitty on the bench. Because not only does it humanize him to Kitty, but they bond over being chaotic bisexuals. Like that is actually what that scene is about. So I love the character. I love that scene for the characters because they see each other as like, oh, we have more in common than we have different. And which I love, but it's also a good representation moment. Okay, because Marius bonds with Kitty over basically trying to figure his sexuality out. He's like girls versus boys. That's where I was at, and that's when I fucked shit up with Q. So things got messy with Q because he couldn't figure it out. And then he's like, oh, you wouldn't understand that, Kitty. But then Kitty does understand better than anybody else in that moment because, like, that's been season 1 and season 2 of XO Kitty. And so I love it because we rarely get depictions of male characters discussing their sexuality
Mhm.
and confusion around that, like we got in that scene with Marius and Kitty. And the fact that he was explaining his exploration of that, not just this like disgust, I don't know what's wrong with me, like the toxic masculinity response. He was like, I was trying to figure out what I wanted and I fucked it up because I'm a human and humans make mistakes. And he was so vulnerable about it. And like again, we rarely get that with male characters. And so I appreciate that scene for what it was and the representation that was in that scene. And I love how it was written and acted, and I thought that was probably one of the best scenes in this season, to be honest with you. And I really enjoyed having that.
Yeah, that was a really great scene and just a great way to show that they're on the same page with him actually calling her Kitty for the first time, which was sweet.
Yeah, because they have more in common than they have different. And yeah, I just love that it was a chaotic bisexual bonding moment. That was lovely. Okay, and then to transition to the gay triangular situationship thing with Marius, Q, and Jin that you talked about. This was messy gay drama I could get behind in the season. This is probably one of the highlights, I guess, for me as well. So, like, again, to sum it up, Q is mad at Marius for being a confused bisexual and dumping him in the past. But then Q became a confused gay when Marius comes back into the picture and he's got all his unresolved feelings. And then Jin gets mad at Q when Q chooses to, quote, figure things out with Marius. And it's like we're trapped in confused gay purgatory with this triangle. So it's a funny, like, not funny, but it's like a clever, interesting dynamic that we have going on. I thought it was like fun, messy gay drama. If we're gonna have messy gay drama, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were messy gays.
They were, and messy bisexuals,
Yes.
etc. And one thing I do love from this dynamic is when we get the dinner at Day's restaurant and Jin's mother, or not Jin's mother, Q's mother is there. And I love how fiercely Jin defends Q to Q's mother, which leads to the conversation between Q and his mother in the car ride home, which is probably one of my favorite scenes in the series as well. Because it was like she opened up about like herself to her son. And it's kind of it's very similar to the Marius Kitty scene where it's like we have more in common than you think we do. And it's like I was a messy teenager just like you were. Even though I'm perfect, I seem to be perfect now because kids see their parents as perfect. She was like, no, I also make mistakes. I learn from them. I just don't want you to repeat them. And I want you to do better than me. And it's like one of those situations where he couldn't see that. She couldn't see how she was being hard on him. And then like they bond. And I especially love in the car ride where she's like, don't let go of Jin because the way he behaved shows that he cares more about you than what I think of him, which means his love for you is real. Like that's real. The fact that he was so brave to stand up to me in Asian culture where like you never do that, where like that goes to show how much Jin cares about Q. The fact that he bypassed that huge social pod, like to do that for Jin. And she recognized it. And I do love that mom was aware of that and was like, the fact that he did that means like, don't let go of him.
That's probably my favorite part too, is just when she's like, he cares more about you than what I think. That's the love you deserve. And it's just so sweet. And like, just to see a mom say that, be like, she's not caring about herself in that moment. She truly cares about what's best for her son. Because she could have been like, oh yeah, I love Marius. Like he's so sweet. And I like my buddy because he's just doing what she wants. But like you said, he needs someone to protect him and have his best interests. So we're going to pause real quick to give some shout outs to our Chaos crew over on Patreon. Woohoo! Our Big Gay Rider Tie tier members and above are A Mix Monzone _multi, Andres, BJR, Brianna or Brianna H, Caroline R, Danny, Isla, Here For It, J Park, JP, Jasmine O, Jill L, Cassie M, Kelsey S, Kenzie, Leona, Michelle G, Monet F, Moving Forward Leading, Nancy D, Pooja S, Regina B, and Sarah B. Thank you so much for all of your support. And our featured Big Gay supporter members are Honey, BP, and Dennis M. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of you and to everyone watching and listening to this. We truly appreciate you just engaging with our content, because just by engaging with us, you are supporting us. You do not have to be a Patreon member to know that you are helping shape Big Gay energy, because we see every one of you. We also see you even more when you leave a comment and subscribe, because we get notifications and can actually see your name.
That's true.
So go do that. And if you want to talk about XO Kitty, is what did you love? What do you want to rant about? Come join our Discord where you can talk to us and other people who watch XO Kitty and all queer media.
Yeah, join the fun.
Yes, do it.
All right, let's talk about Yuri. We haven't talked about Yuri in a while. And I was afraid the writers were going to forget about her this season, but they did not. And I was pleasantly surprised. She got like pushed to the sidelines in season 2 a little bit.
It's very true.
All right. But I want to talk about her and Day and their whole situation, because this was a really interesting season for them because of the whole like lawsuit thing. Their roles were reversed pretty significantly in terms of power and money. And that made things awkward for a bit, especially for Yuri, because Yuri has never been in a position of being not in power when it comes to Day. She was like basically his boss for like a long time. And then that gets reversed. And it takes a bit, but I do like that ultimately they help each other out when it comes to navigating their new lives. And like, okay, we knew that Day was going to help Yuri because that's who he is as a human being. He's just very nurturing and caring and would do anything to help people. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that there was like, it was mutual in terms of like, here's how you navigate having money, here's how you navigate not having money, and like make the most of it kind of thing. So on the latter half of that, when they were at the theme park, like Day is the one that helped facilitate fun at the theme park without having VIP status for Yuri. And Yuri ended up having a great time because she was like, I don't know how to do this without like attendance and stuff like that. And he's like, I got you. He's like, here's all the street foods. Here's how you like navigate lines. Like, and they ended up having a really great day together. Like, you know what I mean?
It's so sweet to see their friendship blossom rather than get crushed and torn apart. Because like that easily, like she could have been resentful because he took everything from her, but she wasn't. Like she was a person who actually understood what was happening. And I loved their growth together. And I love the line, the scene in Busan at the yacht party when she's like, now I'm the only broke one. I believe it was at Busan. Like she's like, I'm the only broke one in our friend group. And he's like, yeah. And then she realized that, oh,
Yeah.
I'm talking to the person who was the broke one of the friend group. And she's like, I can't really complain because this guy also had this experience. And I think that helps them bond even more because they know exactly where the other one is at this point.
Yeah, totally. So like Day, yeah, so Day helps her like have fun despite not having money because like to her money equals happiness, and then she learns, oh, maybe not. And then on the other end of that, Yuri helps Day realize that money opens new doors, especially to colleges that he didn't previously have access to. So he was like super fixated on like getting the scholarship to go to one college, and he's like, that's the only option for me. And she's like, you have money now. Like you have more options than you realize. So maybe you could like take a new look at what you want and where you want to go that you didn't think about because there were no other options for you or you didn't think there were. So I like that basically they're like it's kind of like a grass is greener on the other side kind of situation where the other person didn't was blind to it and then like the other character opens their eyes to it. So it's kind of cute. So they kind of in a way grow together in a way I wasn't expecting to really see this season. And I thought that was really cute and good the way it was written and the way their story progressed. I really enjoyed
I
that between the two of
agree.
them.
And something that I found interesting was I don't think it was on camera. I think you just mentioned to me briefly how you were interested to see how the money would if it would change Day. And I found it very interesting that it did change Day in the fact that he was able to buy things
Yes.
and but it didn't change him as a
Yeah.
person, and I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
what I figured was going to happen.
And
Yeah.
first of all, Day is a gigantic golden retriever, and I love him for it. Like he
He
tries so
is.
hard to be there for everybody. Love just quick shout out to that scene of him trying to help Q through the breakup because he couldn't talk to Kitty. Like he's like,
Oh, that
"Oh,"
was so cute. He's like, "You're going to talk to me about feelings?"
and then he's like,
That
"Oh,
was
it's
so
my turn
cute.
again." It was so cute. Oh my gosh, I love him. And I liked with his story that they showed that sometimes money doesn't change you, it just opens up more opportunities. Because so many times it's like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Like it even when you have a lot of money, you're not happy. But they're showing here and like this is real life, like it gives you more opportunities to do what you want, to go out there and actually succeed. Because now his family was able to open that restaurant and they would never have been able to do that without the settlement. And they're actually
Yeah.
succeeding and like happier. So
Yeah.
I like that comment. It's not typical for what you see.
Yeah, so like yeah, because I was commenting that on that, like how will that change Day? Because it's going to change him because it changes his mindset. Because to Yuri's point, she's like, you're looking at your life through this narrow lens, but now that you have money, there's a bigger lens to see, so you can make different choices. So like Day will then approach life differently because he can see options that weren't available to him. So he can explore things that weren't available. So it is the opportunity thing and how having options and opportunities will ultimately change Day as a person. Like he's going to change. Change is not always a bad thing. Like it's going to change him in a way. So that's why I was curious. I'm like, how will it actually change Day? I didn't think it was going to make him evil and
Yeah.
selfish or like, but it will change him. And that's why, like, when they were at the theme park, he's like, I'm going to buy all the food. Like, he was never in the position to do that before. So, like, he turns into a philanthropist. That's how it changed him because he couldn't be one
Yeah.
before. So, it did change Day, but it's like giving a golden retriever money. It's going to be very different
Yeah.
than giving like Lex Luthor money,
Yes.
So,
Definitely.
it's still change like at the end of the day.
And I'll get back to something about Yuri and her storyline that I have a slight issue with, but I wanted just to counter the days changing. Eunice
Mhm.
had a storyline that we've been talking about,
She
and
sure
like
did.
she did change because of fame. It wasn't, well, technically that's money too. Like fame and money changed her for the worst a little bit. Like, she was ordering people around. She was, I mean, she had to be tired. Like, there's,
Dude, she was overwhelmed.
yes,
Like
that
she's
was a
in
lot.
that
But
position where she's like got no time. You can't be mad at her for
but
that.
it did change her, and um but she did a great job of bringing herself back to earth when she was like hit with the life crisis and just being like, this is not what I want. Like, she
This is
didn't,
not
yeah, she
me.
didn't like who she was. She didn't like this
Right.
life. And so I'm glad that she was able to recognize that and get back to who she was, because that's the best version of her. And
Yeah, she also really wasn't prepared to be thrown into
that
that is
was,
the other
yeah, that was
thing. Like
crazy. She went from 0 to 100. Yeah.
right. And she was you watched her try and navigate. And the thing is like you can't be mad at her. You watched her try and navigate. Like the very beginning where she started getting noticed like at the theme park by fans, like she was engaging with the fans. She's like, "Oh, you recognize me? Yay." And then she was engaging. And then you see how that spirals out of control. Like you give the fans one
Yeah.
inch, they take 10 miles from you. And that's when it started getting to her. She's like, "Oh my God, now I'm not safe anymore." Like so you see the way like it also like harped on like toxic shipping
Mhm.
culture and like how that ruins her life and like takes over and then she has no life anymore and that's when she was like I don't even want this, like I didn't know it was going to be like this. It's like the life of a showgirl. You didn't see behind the curtains and now she does and she's like, okay, this wasn't what I thought it was. I'm willing to step away from this. It's not what I want. And that's a valid thing. Now if she was somebody who was like, no, this is what I want. I want to be a K-pop star. I don't even care what it takes. And she was so ambitious about it that she's willing to deal with it or like present a different way in public. Like that's fine too. But so I like that she had her choice in what she wanted to do. She didn't let herself be coerced by Minho's dad, who's like, you need to get her to, she signed a contract. She needs to do this no matter what. Again, she signed a contract. So like, I don't know how she actually got out of this, but like, legally, but she didn't let herself get taken advantage of by her manager, or not manager, by the producer, I guess, whatever his role was. But it helped her that she had a manager who was her friend and was actually looking out for her because it could easily have been her manager was like, no, you're my ticket to money, therefore I must coerce you into keeping doing these things. You know what I mean? Which that relationship can also be toxic because they're dependent on each other for money. So like but because Minho was true to his friendship first, it made this more of a cutesy situation, not a this could easily be toxic and
Mhm.
abusive situation. So that I think gave Eunice an easier avenue to quote go back to
Yeah.
her normal life, go back to herself. Even though she was herself the whole time, she was just herself in a brand new situation. She's learning to navigate it. And also in that culture, like yeah, Eunice was bossing people around because people expect her to. They let her do that. They tell her, you need to tell me what to do, boss me around. Like people want her to do that. So like it's like she's playing a role.
That's true. That is very true and fair. Yeah, you brought up how like there's a contract. Don't know how she got it. I feel like Minho.
I don't know how
I
she
mean,
got out of
first
the
of all, we
contract.
have
What's legally
it's,
binding in
yeah,
Exo
it's
Kitty
Exo
anyway?
Kitty.
It's
We
Exo Kitty. It
separate
doesn't make any sense anymore.
real
There's no
life.
reality
Yeah.
here. This is like a fantasy AU. If you were in an international school, it could, as a child, do literally whatever you wanted. That is what the show is. It's not, none of it's real.
But I feel like Minho had to do a lot to get her out of it. I think he sacrificed,
Behind the
yeah,
scenes, yeah.
yes, with off
Off
screen,
screen.
off screen.
Off
He had to
screen. So much
sacrifice a
happened off
lot
screen.
more than just his job and
Yeah.
relationship with his dad.
I agree. I
He
agree.
probably
This
had
was
to
all
pay
on
some
Minho,
stuff
honestly.
out and like, yep.
Yep.
There's so much
Mhm.
logistical things
Yeah.
that I think he took over himself because
I
he is
agree.
dedicated to doing this job. And I think he's going to go far in it.
Yeah,
Also,
I agree. I think that was all
if we were
Minho.
to see that
I
in
agree.
Exo Kitty, yes, he'd be the most famous manager ever because that's just how it goes in the Exo Kitty reality. Um,
Absolutely.
anyway, do you have anything else about them?
No.
Okay, I'm
Mm-mm.
just gonna say something quick about Yuri and learning to live like a normie. Just something that I did not like is the fact that Kitty basically forced her to sell her clothes to go back to their school and stay in the dorms. And
Seriously?
the issue was like, and stay in the dorms.
No.
Because first of all, Yuri could have found a new home in another school, like Or at the very least, she could have lived at home to save money. She didn't live that far.
I know.
And, like,
No, this was crazy.
and this was purely just for Kitty to be happy, because, like, Yuri did not have to
I
sell the
know.
things that she valued just for Kitty to be happy. But, like, I guess maybe the show was trying to sell the story that, like, friendship is more valuable than possessions. But
That
you
is
could
exactly what they're
see
trying to
but
do.
you could see that Yuri was like, "But my possessions, they also bring me happiness, and that's okay."
Yeah, she was also well, Yuri was like, "This is the all I have left of my old life."
Yeah.
So, like, her life just got turned upside down in the matter of weeks, and she's like, "This is all I have, Kitty." And Kitty's like, "Yeah, but you can sell it to pay for this semester
Yeah, just the semester.
of
What are we doing
school."
next
That's what I
semester?
mean. I'm like, "Girl, yeah, what's she doing next semester, girl? What do you like?"
And, like,
Again, because Kitty, like, is a girl of privilege. She was just like, "Dad, I'm doing this. I'm going to the school. Pay like, it's happening." And it's just like she gets what she wants all the time, and it's just like, yeah, Yuri, if you know, this is the toxic version of like you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want. But I'm like, girl, there's no longitudinal planning here. And like Yuri's broke next semester. Like then she's still in this situation. This is a band aid, and then she doesn't have clothes to sell. Then what? Like
honestly,
you can only do this once.
Yuri's storyline really made me disconnect from the other characters, because it made me realize, oh yeah, all these characters have a lot of money. They can literally do whatever. Why do I care? So it made me more connected to Yuri, but was more like, why are we here with the rest of the characters?
I mean, yeah, that's how I feel about rich people problems all the time. I mean, that's if you go back watch season 1, season 2, that's Day. Day is that character. You're just like he's like I can't
Yeah,
fuck up anything because if I do, I'm out of school and there's no second chance for me. And like,
that's
but
what
now it's
actually
Yuri in that
matters,
situation. Yeah.
and through this whole thing.
Yep. But yeah, no, that was crazy the way it was framed as like Kitty
And,
wants
like,
her friends together and therefore sell all your stuff so I can have you as my roommate again. I was like,
yes,
Kitty, what the
in
fuck?
the dorm with her ex
In the door. Yeah, I
without
know.
telling
Exactly.
her.
Like, girl, and then she doesn't tell them. Like she doesn't tell like Juliana or like, oh Kitty, what are
And
you doing? Anyway,
again,
ugh,
like,
yeah,
if she
no.
stayed at home and lived at home, she would have still been going to school with them. They still would have seen each
Yeah,
other.
totally.
First of all, they could have seen each other no matter what, because, you still live in the same
They're
city.
in school. We forgot that they're in classes this semester also.
Well, we did have a few classes, only when it pertained to Kitty and not being good at it. Um,
Right. And then off screen she got good at
yeah,
it
somehow, very quickly. How'd you
somehow.
rate that paper?
Very
That's my
quickly.
question. Anyway, where was I? Nope, I
I don't
lost
know.
it. Something like, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
no,
guess
I
like
got it.
if she lives in the yeah,
Yeah,
not the
so,
dorm.
like, they could have seen each other no matter what, but if she lived at home, she could have had more money to pay for the next semester.
Yeah, totally.
So it makes no sense. It
I
was
know.
purely
That
selfish
made no
for
sense.
Kitty.
It was. And also it's convenient for the writers because they need them all to live
Yeah.
together so that Juliana and Yuri
But
can
it's not like she
interact.
can't just visit either. Like, she could just visit
I
them
I
and have
understand. I
sleepovers.
understand.
Like, it makes no sense. Anyway,
It
I'm
doesn't make
digressing.
sense. No, it doesn't. It's because this is fantasy school. This is a fantasy story. If you didn't think you liked fantasy genre, this is a fantasy genre, actually. But it's just in I'm not kidding. It's just in a modern setting. This is a fantasy story. Fantasy YA story.
That makes sense.
All right. Since we're back in the dorms, let's talk about the sapphic triangle, I guess, that they were trying to create for drama reasons. So something I did, and that pertains to Juliana, Yuri, and Prevena. And before we jump into that, I just want to talk about like how Yuri and Prevena becoming friends was not something I expected,
Mhm.
but I'm glad it happened. I thought it was like really sweet in the beginning where they were just genuinely bonding because they had things in common.
Yeah.
And I like that part of it.
I like that when Pravina bought I think was it tea or whatever, the drink
The
for
drink.
Yuri, and was like, and Yuri thought she was just like pitying her because she didn't have enough money, but she's like, "No, I truly wanted to buy this for you. It was not because of anything. I think we should talk and get to know each other for Juliana." And like that makes total sense. And
It did.
if it would have gone the way that it could have, it would have been really cute and really cool to, like, have that friend group and have them be close. But XO
Agreed.
Kitty can't let them be happy. No.
No, no one's allowed to be happy. Well, because I think what this season did is it established all the endgame ships, is that's all it did.
That's true. Yeah, they're
So
like,
the endgame ship is
"We have one
Juliana
more
and
season.
Yuri.
This is how we're gonna
Yeah,
this
that's
is where we're
basically what they're
headed."
doing. So here's what I want to say, because to your point, the Prevena and Juliana breakup came out of nowhere. Like it literally came,
It
like
literally did.
Juliana had like 3 lines, and then this comes out. Like I was at the beginning of the show, I was like they're Plutoing Juliana because she's barely in it, barely has lines, and then like the Prevena Juliana breakup comes
They
out of
Plutoed
nowhere.
Prevena even more
Yes, she got Plutoed the most. But here's the thing about the breakup. I appreciate how the two, why is it that the side characters are more mature than the main character?
because
Okay, because
it's less interesting, I guess. Not for me, but
I don't understand it. But yeah, like their conversation was the most adult breakup I've ever seen, and they're like 17. Okay. Honestly, like, and then watching their breakup and the way they handled it, like Juliana and Pravina might have been the most mature relationship in the whole series, and I'm honestly upset the writers ended it, to be honest.
yeah. And the way that Prevena was like, "I deserve to be with somebody who gets excited when I walk into the room." To, like, know that
Yeah.
she deserves that type of love, and she's like, "The way that you look at Yuri when she walks into the room." So, like, she's
Which, like, did that really happen? Did the writers really show us that? They barely did with
yeah.
Juliana, that she has residual feeling. Like again, she had like 3 scenes preceding this, so this felt like it came out of
Yeah, they needed
nowhere.
more screen time, definitely. I
That's what
feel
I
like
mean.
they had to have had more scenes that got cut.
And maybe they cut them.
But,
Yeah,
like,
it's
that was terrible
I
to
don't
cut
know.
because
Yeah, it's
we
fun
needed
cut.
more we are getting the very least amount of growth, not growth, but, like, on-screen depiction of this relationship because 'cause they're always getting
This
sidelined.
Yeah, the sapphic plotline got Plutoed for the gay boy plotline
Yes.
and Kitty and Mito. And that's what happened. But here's the deal about the Juliana Pravina thing. I am upset that they broke them up because I think they were the most mature relationship. But here's what I think happened. I anticipate the writers had a difficult time concocting drama between the two of them because this relationship was so mature.
Mm.
Or, other thought, the writers ignored the lesbians altogether until they needed a D plot slash something else for Yuri to do that wasn't too deep. Because then they throw Yuri in it, and they're like, "Yeah, they have feelings still for each other, even though we've barely showed you anything on screen that corroborates that."
They're like
Yeah, I think
okay.
the lesbians are the plot
Now
is
here's
what
my
happened
theory.
here, and or they're just like, ugh, there's no drama.
My theory is this: they did not they are like, "The Sapphic women are not giving us enough of our goal, like money and views, I guess.
Correct. No,
Yes.
that is a
So,
fact
but we
because
still
there's no
have that
sales.
audience. So we need to make them a little happy. So let's throw them a bone because
Yeah, that's
apparently
what I
we
mean.
want Juliana and Yuri together. I don't care who's with who.
I
I just want them all to be
I was
happy.
I wanted Juliana and Prevena together.
Honestly,
I thought they were a better
they would
couple.
have been great together.
I
However,
they were a better
they
couple.
jumped into that relationship where Juliana didn't have time to process what happened. Like she didn't have time to heal. So like she just got into that relationship.
That is true. That is true, but, like, she was like, "Juliana betrayed me. I mean, Yuri betrayed me." So it make it w I like, her pining still, I don't know, it's just there's not enough of her
Well,
is the
they're
problem because like,
also
you don't get to see her process any of this or, like, her pining. It's just none of it's there. Just be like, "Off screen, this is still happening, by the way," and it's like, "What?"
they
Like,
also keep harping
giving
on
me
the first
whiplash.
love thing. Like you can't get over your first
That's what I
love.
don't like. Yes, that's what I don't like. Except with Q. He's the only one where they're just like, he's not into his first love anymore. He has Jin now, who's better. I'm like,
Well, I mean,
again, they gave the gay men all the actual character growth, and like, yeah, the lesbians just got. That's what I mean. They gave a D plot. They had to give a plot to to Yuri that wasn't deep. So they'd be like, oh, she's still hung up on her first love. Sure, the audience will believe that.
I mean, like the thing is, it would be more plausible if Kitty was somewhat into Day still because, like, Kitty
That's what I
that, like,
mean.
they
Like, it's
revolve
only the lesbians
yeah.
got that.
So
It was a very lazy, they're just like, we'll lean on this trope without giving you any substance to back this up. Like, there's no receipts really for it. It's just a trope that they leaned into. So that's why I think, like, they forgot about the lesbians, and then they're just like, "Shit, we need another subplot. Yuri needs something else to do that isn't being poor, so let's just bring Julianna back into
I
it
honestly don't think that they
out of
cared about it
nowhere."
either, because that's
That's what I
what's
mean.
being shown.
Yep. The writers ignored the lesbians altogether until they needed a D plot. Yeah, that's what I think they did. And again, all this show really hinges on relationship drama, and there is no drama between Prevena and Juliana because they were in such a mature relationship. I think they had to break them up because they can't use them for
They
drama.
could
And
have
like,
been
what's the point of characters if you can't use them for drama?
they could have been the wise lesbians that taught Kitty how to actually be in a relationship.
Kitty would never listen to them. Kitty doesn't listen to
No, she
anybody.
doesn't. That's
That's her
EXO
whole.
Kitty. That's the
I know.
subtitle, like the whatever.
Kitty
EXO
listens
Kitty.
to
Kitty
literally
doesn't listen to
no one.
anyone.
No, not even herself. It's crazy. Okay, speaking of Kitty, so Kitty and Yuri, let's talk about this real quick. They mutually friend zoned each other from the first scene. If anyone out there was like, "Oh, will Kitty and Yuri be a thing?" No, immediately they both friend zone each other. And season 3 proceeded as if they were never into each other at all.
Yes,
Like they just erased
they
it.
did
Like they were just
erase
like it
that.
never happened.
'Cause I was like,
Uh-huh.
wasn't
They
there that
did.
whole thing
They
where they
erased it.
kissed in the last season? Like, there was nothing there.
There was nothing. No. And so that ship is officially
Yeah.
lying in a watery grave next to the Titanic. Like they were just like they are friends mutually. They're never going to talk about this. Ugh. It was just it was annoying just like and I'm not like mad that Kitty's with Minho. It's not that at all. Like I'm just like we had this plot line that was like a big deal and then like it really had no resolution whatsoever. They were just like and off screen. Like again, what's off screen shit? They mutually were just like, we're friends. So, and here's the thing, and like I have to harp on this because I understand like sapphic people are going to be upset because that was the ship everybody wanted. Because like we all would like a main character to be in a sapphic
Mhm.
relationship, and I very much understand that. And if you're here and you're upset about that, go watch Thai Girl Love
Yes.
Media because there's a plethora of women dating women, and that's the whole plot. So like just go over there and like eat your fill because it's glorious. And so in Western slash American media, it's extremely frustrating to like never be able to have a sapphic queer lead that's in a sapphic relationship. So I understand that frustration. I'm with you. I get that. However, just because Kitty is not actively dating a woman does not negate her queerness at all. In fact, they did still put her in situations that like as a bisexual woman that were unique to her that could happen. So the conversation with Marius where he was like explaining his past, trying to figure out being, bisexual, pansexual, he didn't label it, but he doesn't have to, but she understood him there. And then at the very first episode where she's like insecure about Minho being a manager and posting photos for work of him with his
Oh
client
my
and
god,
she's like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'll make it seem like I'm having the best summer ever." She did the unique queer woman thing that only a queer woman can do, where she had the picture with the hands with different like nail polish to be like, "Yeah, I'm with a woman." Because again, she's still bisexual at the end of the day. Like it doesn't erase that just because she's with a man. Like it doesn't. And so like I'm not mad about it. About the fact that Kitty is not with Yuri and that's not the end game ship. I'm not mad about that. I'm just like I feel like that whole thing like it's almost like Yuri was used for drama. Like it's like Kitty's bisexuality was used strictly for drama and then like
Mhm.
and then they just like not ignored it but just like abruptly didn't even finish like ending. They didn't really give a resolution to that. They just kind of like off screen moved on and that really is like upsetting, and like kind of like okay, so you used us for shipping with Kitty, like the sapphic, people for shipping and then threw us aside. And then in this season, we're just like, you'll get some crumbs with Juliana and Yuri. That's like also clearly an afterthought in the writer's room. So it's just like, I'm tired of being in this situation with sapphic media in like Western media, which is why I don't even watch it anymore. Cause it's like, what's the point? This is not, it's not fulfilling for me. It's like why I'm watching this so Kitty can have no character growth. Like, like Minho was great. I think every character in the show was great this season, except Julianna because they forgot about her, and then Kitty.
Yep,
Everybody else was great, honestly.
pretty much. And I sorry if that bothers anybody, but like
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
just
It
honestly watching the
that
show, I'm
bothered me
like,
this season.
I was more invested in anything but Kitty.
Yeah, I was into Mino's manager career. Like I was into Day. I was into the boy love triangle with Q, Jin, and Marius. I thought Marius was interesting. Madison had a side plot going on with her
Yeah,
bestie where I'm like, are they dating? What are they
love
doing?
okay, just real quick, I
Of course the
love
friendship though.
Madison. Just
I
I
love
need her to get
Madison.
more because there's so much potential there with her character that's like I
I
know she's like the
know.
comedic relief, but like you could give
She
her
is.
stuff too. And like we saw a little
You totally
slight little
could.
bit in this season. I would just
Yeah.
love to see more of Madison.
She was hilarious. And then Day and Eunice. Like I liked all the stuff going. Even Kitty's like family stuff. Like LJ was back. Like it's just like the writers are just allergic to character growth for Kitty. And it's like we're 3 seasons in, guys. Like, what are we doing? Is Kitty like not gonna have any character growth at all in 4 seasons? Like, what are we
Honestly,
doing?
we're still at
It's just
elementary
very
Kitty
frustrating.
from To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Right. I'm like, what are we doing? Anyway, so that's Kitty and Yuri, I guess. Let's see. Last thing I have before I just have like a giant Kitty rant is LJ and Kitty. So I was very glad that LJ was back and like in more than one episode because we when she first showed up, we are like, oh, I'm like, oh man, I hope she comes back because like I feel like they're mirroring the setting up a foil between like LJ's relationship and then Kitty and Mino, which they were because they're not subtle. But we didn't do the oh my sister's on the phone with me thing. Like they actually had her in multiple episodes, so it was really nice to see her. And just they are really hinting super heavily that like LJ and Peter's relationship is going to mirror Kitty and Mino's. Like the long distance things that work out in the end, we're an endgame ship no matter what. So like they really are just harping on like the endgame ship thing with Mino and Kitty, which again I'm not mad about, but I'm just like you guys are not subtle with your writing.
No.
Which like it's a YA story. I guess you don't have to be because that the audience doesn't pick up on subtlety as well, I guess.
I wish Laura Jean came in and did more to like teach Kitty because like when she was there, she's like, I came here to help Kitty, but really she helped me more than I thought.
That's a whole other rant that I have.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. I won't say
But yeah, no, you go ahead. Go ahead. You can.
that.
I'll just jump into my Kitty rant now.
Sorry. Sorry, I just lost all thoughts.
That's okay. What else did you have before we were going to jump into Kitty and Mino?
Um,
Unless you want to talk about Mino as a separate person.
no. We can just. I mean, I only have that. He's like, I love this growth and stuff, and like,
No, I think it's worth saying.
Yeah.
I don't have any other points other than like the issues I have with Kitty.
I mean, I'm glad that we did get an episode where Laura Jean actually visited Kitty because I was
Totally, that's what I
worried
mean. Yeah.
that when we had that little bit in the summer that like that was going to be it, and like the
Right.
rest would be texts, and so it was like great because I was worried that they were going to not ruin but like misuse their opportunity to have that actress in the show because
Yeah,
there's so
I
much
agree.
ample opportunity with the two of them and
Mhm.
the storylines possible. Now I'm not totally thrilled with how things went, but I think it was sweet to see the sister bond because that I feel like that's the heart of the movies as well. So,
Yes.
and like we really got to get back to that and like the family aspect of it.
Well, I think they're doing a found family
Yeah,
aspect
that's
with all
true.
the friends,
Which is fair.
which
Yeah, and that's That's fine
Fair.
too.
Yeah, but I'm glad they used I'm with you. I'm glad they had the actual sister bonding stuff. And then they brought in their cousin too, which was also really sweet because it's like Kitty has connected with her, mom's family also. It's not just her family back in the States. And so I liked having those three characters together. I don't like how that all went down in that scene, but which I'll rant about in a second, but I enjoyed having like the three of them interacting at all because I didn't think they were going to do that, but I was glad they did.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Speaking of Juwan and Kitty, okay, so this is gonna if you love Kitty, just skip ahead like 20 minutes because I'm just gonna rant about Kitty for a minute. Okay, and it's not Kitty, well, it is Kitty, but it's the way they write Kitty. And my first complaint about Kitty is that we are 3 seasons in, and like Kitty's main character syndrome really needs to change. Because every season it is the same thing with Kitty. She unintentionally harms people by meddling in their lives, which causes issues, but inevitably, to your point you said a second ago, by the end, whoever's life she meddled in thanks her, which reinforces this behavior. So Kitty faces no actual consequences when she fucks shit up. It is my least favorite aspect of XO Kitty, and that's really hard to say because like she's the main character, and I like really hate her behavior that drives all of this. And it's a lot of this is a me problem because like I can't stand people who meddle in other people's lives in real life. It drives me insane because it's to me it's such like a invasion of privacy. It's like ripping people of their autonomy. It's like people don't behave or have no empathy for you, things like that. So personally, it's a pet peeve in life, the Kitty's behavior. And then narratively in the story, it bothers me because Kitty never grows out of this. And the drama from season 1 to season 2 to season 3 just feels really repetitive because it always follows the same format. It's the same thing for 3 seasons straight. So it's like feels like lazy writing because you're hinging on this one character trait that she has from when she was a child in the movies. And you're like, we can never change this one character trait she had as a child, even though she's an adult now and she's still behaving childishly. And it's like, why are we still doing this? Like, it's boring after a while, like as a
Why
story,
is
in
she
my
still in
opinion.
romantic fantasy world? Like,
I don't, I mean, romantic fantasy world's fine, but like, why must she keeps behaving the same way and it keeps causing problems? And then, like, at the end, they're like, thanks, Kitty, for causing problems. I'm better off because you caused problems. Every season, it's always that. It's so annoying after a while. Like, have her do something else. It can still be driven by the fact that she wants to match make, but like, why must it always follow that format? Is my problem. It's just boring and it makes it
yeah.
predictive. So it's like not fun to watch because I'm like, I already know what's gonna happen. Kitty's who's her target this time? Whose life she gonna
The
fuck up this
answer is
time. You know what I
everyone.
mean? It is literally everyone.
Every single season.
Okay. Ugh. And then in this season 3, I never loved a character in the series more than when Juwan tells Kitty off.
Mhm.
Because Kitty lures her into the aquarium as a bribe to extend her homework assignment. But of course, Kitty couldn't leave it at that. She then sets up her cousin on a blind date with Alex, another professor at the school. And Joanna rightfully points out how Kitty is putting her teaching job in jeopardy. Twice. Like, this wasn't the first time she did this. And clearly, it never crosses Kitty's mind. Kitty sees the world through rose colored glasses, like an optimistic child. This is what I mean. They never have this character grow out of childhood, and she only sees the romantic potential when her cousin with her cousin's happiness without actually listening to her cousin about what she wants and needs. So then I love the moment where Joanne calls Kitty out and then she rescinds the deadline extension and adds consequences, which is you have to write 10 more pages than everybody else. Okay. And honestly, Kitty needs tough love and accountability. Like, she needs it because she's basically lived her entire life without it and hasn't grown into a responsible adult who's ready to be on her own. And I applaud her cousin for giving Kitty the tough love like this. And what actually happens in the story? Kitty rises to the challenge despite doubting herself. And without realizing it, she proves she is capable of doing anything she sets her mind to because she meets the deadline and does the extra work. even when that task seemed impossible. Okay, so Kitty does do it. She proves she can grow.
Off screen.
But then what do the writers do with this plot line? Cut to Juwan confessing her pregnancy and telling Kitty she was right about everything and apologizing to Kitty.
Mhm.
So the writers fucking sabotage themselves, just like the character. And it's like, we had Kitty prove she could grow, and then you were just like, nah, because they're allergic to it. Like, I don't get it.
They're
Like,
allergic to it.
why did you write this?
That's fair.
Pisses me off.
Okay.
Yeah, it made me mad. I was like, "Ugh, you proved she could do it, and then like you fumbled that hard, and there was like, nah, Kitty doesn't grow. It's like, come on, guys, like she proved she could do it.
But if we ignore that part of it, I love that Joanne actually tells her, like, up straight up that, like, "You manipulated me into this. Like, this is what you're doing. You
Yeah.
aren't matchmaking. You are manipulating me to spend more
Yes.
time so you could hang out with your boyfriend." And then she also says, "That I think you're still too focused on," which she totally
Yes.
is. And,
She
like, the
is.
first day of school, Jiwon also warns her that she wouldn't be getting special treatment from her. And I love that Jiwon sets boundaries with Kitty. She's the only person to set boundaries, and she does follow them for the most part. She does not
Mhm.
give Kitty special treatment. The only special treatment she was given was that 5-minute warning before she
Mhm.
brought Professor Lee to
Yeah.
the party.
Break up the
Yeah.
party. Yeah, but then also she was gonna give her an extension too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
So like she was crumbling, but then like again, as a she was like, you're fucking me over again and not listening to me, like as a person and as an authority figure. You're just trying to manipulate. Yeah, exactly. But then how do they end it? They end it with the same way they end everything. They're like, Kitty was right to meddle. Like, look how her meddling was a good thing. It's like, come on, like, no, stop doing this.
Yeah, they did that with literally everybody, because even Q, like,
Literally,
Q,
everyone
I
thanks
liked
Kitty.
because, like, he pushed back on her as well and was like, "You stop messing things up. I do not want you meddling in my life." And then he eventually is like, "I made this so much worse anyway. Like, it literally could not be worse, so go ahead. What else can you do?" But by him saying that, he's like, "You make everything worse no matter what, but I just don't think you could make it worse this time, so, like, go ahead, try."
Yeah, at least he got exacerbated. But yeah, no, like seriously, every single character she does this to will push back at some point, but then end up thanking her in the end. And so like she faces no consequence. That's what I mean. That's why Kitty never grows, because they write the other characters to be like, "Thanks, Kitty. I learned a lesson from you by ignoring everything I was telling you and by bulldozing my boundaries I was trying to set." And so therefore, we're 3 seasons in and Kitty has not grown at all as a character. And that's incredibly frustrating. She's a main
I
character.
will say with the Q thing, in Kitty's defense, I do not think it was Kitty's fault for accidentally telling Jin about this photo. She didn't tell him about the photo, but,
No,
like,
no, not at all. I agree. I agree. Not at all.
yeah, like,
That
Q
was
that
on
was
him.
Q's
That was
fault.
not her.
Yeah.
Right. But also it goes to show you you cannot tell her things because she will talk about it.
But I love how that comes back again, and, what's I forget his, Jiwon's boyfriend. Alex,
Alex.
yes, thank you, sorry. When Alex is like, "Kitty, you told him?" to Professor Lee, and she's like, "No, no, I didn't." And he ends up just outing himself to Professor Lee.
That was cute.
Yeah, because again,
Again, she has a
she has a
reputation.
pattern. That's what you
There's
expect.
a pattern of behavior that does never change. It's just frustrating because like it just makes the story boring because I already know what's gonna happen and that's not fun to watch. Whereas like season 1 and season 2, at least it had some more unpredictability to it. I
Mhm.
feel like season 3 did not. It was extremely predictable. Everything was predictable. So it was
I
like
think that's fair.
my least favorite season, honestly. Despite the fact that like there were elements that I liked about
Mhm.
it. Like I really did. It was just like the story overall felt lazy and boring, honestly, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of a letdown, the way just everything was like,
So
we're doing the same thing again,
I was
just with different
rewatching it,
plot
and I was
lines.
like, the first few episodes, I was, like, pretty into, and then I was like, "Is the second half of the season really just filler?" Because that's what it felt like.
Yes, it did. It did, right, exactly. Because like, again, they set up the fact that Minho and Kitty are gonna be the endgame ship, and then they're like, well, we must create drama to keep them apart. and then get them together at the end and have parallel scenes on the plane, like in the end of season one. But they can't be together the whole time because what is the show about if it's not about
Yeah.
drama? So that's why it felt boring. I was like, they're gonna break them up, cause a misunderstanding, get them back together. It's just so predictable. Just boring. I feel like they could have done other stuff. Like, I don't know, Kitty's struggling to like with school, and then just have her actually grow, and like Mito could help her. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, there could have been so many other things they did. They're just like
It's because
straight up
they're
wrong.
allergic to external drama too. It all has to be relationship drama.
That was it. Kind of is external drama. It's just like we're caught. Like Marius is external drama for Kid and or Q and
Mm.
Jin. Well, I mean, it is a romance show,
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
fair.
yeah, relationship drama
That's
is a
true.
big part. It's the genre we're in. It's not. I'm not mad about that. I just feel like you could have had other plot lines for the drama other than like the really predictable
What's going on with Madison, man?
shit. Again, you could have had other drama between Mito and Kitty. Like, what if Kitty's family didn't like him, and then he had to like we had to navigate that, or like they were setting it up that like Kitty, like Mito's dad and Kitty were gonna be like a big thing, and that was not in it. Like we could have kept going with other. We could have done other things that were relationship drama based that weren't these like super predictable misunderstanding. It hedges on Kitty being jealous and insecure, and like which again, like it is a she's a kid who's not grown. Well, I'm gonna call her kid because like they have not proved to me she's an adult. So like yeah, she and but like Kitty doesn't grow is like the problem. So it's like you could repeat this again next season. It would be as plausible because they
And
don't
they
let
will.
Kitty. They know, so they won't let Kitty grow.
My
I don't know
only
what the writer's problem is when it comes to Kitty. It's really
my
annoying.
only hope is that they don't forget about the lesbians next season.
No, they
They
will.
will. But
They will.
hopefully, yeah, they're gonna watch this, obviously, and then totally take our comments for what they are.
Yeah.
No, but like hopefully by like saying this and like maybe other people can have their voice heard too and just like speak up because they do check social media.
They do, but they're gonna lean more into the gay stuff
They
because
are.
of heated rivalry. That's why they're
Yeah.
doing it. That makes money because straight women are into that, and it's a bigger cohort of people to watch it. And like this is like the pandering season because you have Kitty and Mino, so you're gonna get like the bigger heterosexual fan base in there, and then you have like a big gay plot line, so get like more women and gay men, and like queer people will show up because there's queer women will show up because there's queer people in it regardless, even though we're getting screwed from a representation standpoint. So like it's the perfect formula of like things that will make Netflix money. And again, it does not negate the fact that Kitty is a queer woman. It does not. It's just like this is if you're looking for sapphic representation, this is not the show.
Mm-hmm. That's
I'm
fair.
on, and if you're looking for something that's like cutesy and like wholesome-ish, like yeah, this is the show. And it's not like a bad show. It's
No,
just
it's
like
it's it's
I.
good.
It's not a bad show at all. I just wish they would not follow the same script every single season. That's
And
all.
I
Especially
honestly
with
don't think
Kitty.
that
Like I want to
that's
see
too much
Kitty
to ask
grow
for.
up.
Like
Right. I'm
have
just
a story.
Kitty's about to Kitty's going to graduate high school and be on her own soon. Like can we have character growth for this person? Like that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's my Kitty rant.
It was a good one.
What else you got?
Well, something that didn't frustrate me is that I am really surprised by this coming from the first season to here. I really respect Mino and kind of love him, and I respect
Yeah.
his growth. Like especially the
Yes, I
way that
agree.
he handled Eunice's desire not to be famous anymore. Because he cared
Yes.
about the person rather than money, and by the end of the season, we even see like that's helping him, and it's
Mhm.
like he's getting more clients because he actually cares, and that's sad that that's so rare in this industry, but shows how valuable it can be, and it sets him apart from people like his father. So I just thought that
Totally.
that was a great contrast. Like just because that's how things are done normally doesn't mean that that's the way that they have to be done. You can be a good person and protect the person that is underneath and still be successful. And I love that he is someone that you can count on to be there for you and protect you. Because at the end of the day, he takes his job so serious with Eunice because he is right there to step in and put his arm over her, run her into Day's restaurant, go with her even when he wants to spend time with Kitty. Like he takes his job seriously, and that is major growth for Minho since the very first season, where he was just like the stuck up character who didn't really care. It's just I love him now. And it's been great to just
Yeah,
see
they
more of him and his character.
yeah, I agree. I liked Minho. Minho is this season in particular, it's positive masculinity because he's inhabiting the traits that men think they have, but they don't, where he actually is a protector and protecting people, to your point, and is reliable. Like he's a reliable person they can count on, either as a friend or just as like a business partner. So yeah, I was happy to see that about Minho. I am sorry. I feel bad for him with the dad stuff because like he has daddy issues. That's
Mhm.
how you get season one, Minho. And the fact that he had like I did like the plot line where him and his like work friend that Kitty thought was trying to date him or whatever because drama, when they were having the conversation when they're rock climbing or whatever, and he's like he was upset for Kitty not being there for him or whatever, and she's like, you can't expect her to like fill the void in your heart. Like, you know what I mean? You have to learn to love yourself and like let go of like trying to chase your dad's approval because you're never gonna get it, basically. And like it's really shitty to have to like come to terms with that. That like his dad is never gonna be who he wants him to be, or like his dad is never gonna give him the love and respect that Minho wants and is trying to like prove he's worthy of. So it's a really shitty position for him to be in. But I do like the way that plot line fleshed out where like him and Kitty get into the argument. And she's like, I'm not perfect and you can't expect me to be. That was so real. Like that was the realest conversation they ever had because like yeah, you cannot put all these expectations unrealistic expectations on your partner and then when they don't meet them, get mad at them.
Yeah.
It's like she's a human who makes mistakes. You know
Yeah,
Kitty.
you
Kitty
know
makes
Kitty.
tons of
She is a
mistakes.
walking mistake.
You know Kitty. She's a walking mistake. And like that's fine. Like that's being a human. And so I like that he kind of had to come to terms with that and be like, I'm projecting onto her. It's just not about her. This is about me. And like he kind of did the self-reflection thing, which like, yes, show more men doing that because that's a huge problem in the world right now. So and you know, he was happier for it at the end, you know, after he like worked on himself. So I appreciate that about Mino too. Like it showed again a level of maturity
Mhm.
in a character who's like about to like go out in the world and be an adult that made sense. Like, that's what I mean. I think the writers did a great job with most of the characters this season in terms of having them grow and like grow into adults who are mature because we're transitioning into like they're graduating high school. It's just like they left Kitty behind and the lesbians got shafted, but like
Yeah.
everybody else like grew into an adult, you know, which I enjoyed about this season.
But
And particularly Mino. Mino was a good one too.
go on.
He wasn't just like Kitty's love interest. He had his own stuff
Yes.
going on. And I'm glad they did that because I was afraid once their relationship started, it was just going to be Mino obsessed. It just his plot line was Kitty, but it wasn't. And I was pleasantly surprised about that. I honestly.
Yeah, that is true. Like he got a lot this season, and I'm not mad at
Yeah.
it. They did a great job with
No, I'm not
him.
mad at it.
And we even see his maturity and Kitty's lack of maturity, kind of like
Yes.
when they have
Absolutely.
their conversations together, where Mino has to literally pull Kitty's thoughts out from her, like, and her feelings. Like, he has to be like, stop leading me on. Like, what are you feeling? Like, were you asking to go on the world tour? Like, what do you actually mean? Stop backtracking. Stop like playing around with these things. Just tell me what is going on in your head. And he had to do that multiple times. It was
He
like
did.
every single actually, I think most episodes ended with a conversation between the two of them where Mino's trying to get her to tell him how she feels. And I don't think she ever would have admitted her feelings without Mino pulling them out of her. And like that just shows
Yeah.
the imbalance of maturity there because like he was able to have these conversations it took more work for her to be able to talk about it, but he initiated it all the time.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, like, and this is her first actual well, not first relationship. She was with Dave, but they were children
Yeah.
and it was long distance. That's a very different relationship than I see you every day. I see you interacting with other people. I have to verbalize my feelings, my adult feelings for you. And like Kitty is not an adult the way they've written her. So it makes sense that she has no idea how to express herself like that. And so she's learning, and she's lucky that Mino is patient and willing to like pull the feelings out of her. Because
Yeah.
he very easily be like, "This is annoying. I'm done." But he's not that person because he's a nurturing, caring person. To your point that you made earlier. So yeah, that Mino was a they did a good job with Mino this season.
They really did.
Except writing a consensus on how to say his name. They failed
Yeah.
hard with that.
That brings us full circle for this episode.
It it sure does. Any thoughts and feelings about season 4? Because we're gonna get a season 4. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
if we don't, I'll be
How do you
really
want this to?
surprised. Um,
I would be super surprised.
well, I don't want the lesbians to be on the back burner, but let's be real, they probably
Yeah,
will be.
they will be.
I'd like to see more Madison. I would like to see more with the family, like the
Yeah.
actual family. I love the found family. Like, don't get me wrong, but like they emphasize the family part of it so much, especially in the beginning, that it felt flat, kind of. Like, I love that we got G1 as the teacher in this, but
Uh-huh,
that was
yeah.
also really sidelined this season.
It was. I was surprised about that. I thought there was gonna be more of that, but there
Yeah, and, like, they
wasn't.
kind of threw the grandmother in every once in a while just to cause more drama,
Yeah.
and it shows that she had no
Just to cause
character
drama.
growth either, because you would think that after
0.
not seeing her sister for, what, 50 years? Or however long, like, she would be more like, "Oh, I wanna keep my family close. I'm more open-minded." Like, no, it just shows that some people never change, and you know what? Actually, Kitty is resembling her the most,
Oh my
so you know
god.
what? That
There it
actually
is.
makes sense why Kitty's not changing.
Shit.
So I just talked
It's
myself into
genetic.
a epiphany here. So
It's
actually that makes
genetic.
sense because they set up Kitty to be like the grandmother.
She's the grandmother. Oh, you're right.
So maybe she's destined to not change. I'm so sorry for everybody in her life.
Involved in sorry, Mino. Good luck with that.
um, but yeah, I would like to see more with the family and see how that grows. I would like Kitty to get some growth. I don't. I think we'll have the same formula again because
Yeah, I
that's
think it's
EXO
gonna be the
Kitty.
exact same formula.
Um, and I would like to see Mino and Day like team up and take over the music world.
That would be super, super cute. I'm hoping that we'll get some glimpses of Mino and Kitty in America
Oh yes,
interacting with
meeting
some
the
people.
dad.
I'm hoping we Yeah, I would like to get some of that, meeting the family or just hanging out, some more cameos. Cause like they're the end game ship, so let
Yeah,
them interact. Let us see it. I don't want it off screen. So I would like some of that. Um, I assume this is gonna be the graduation season, so I'm hoping we have some kind of either glimpse into the future or like they have plans. My assumption is that like Mino is gonna end up going to New York to like do
yeah.
music or whatever. And that's
Yeah.
what this is gonna end up being. She's gonna go to NYU. He's gonna end up in New York with Day. And then Yuri will conveniently end up there for fashion reasons. And I feel like they're just gonna relocate everybody to New York. That's my prediction.
And then we're gonna have EXO Kitty
Um,
New York the college years. That's a
right.
prediction. Anyway, but I'm really
Yeah, if
surprised that
they
they
extend this,
locked
yeah.
in Kitty's future in this season. Like early decision. Like that's actually a major step for her because she can't decide anything. But I mean in this
Oh, she
way, like it decided for her.
Well, because yeah, I think they're either that or they're gonna do the actual parallel to Peter and LJ because they are heavily setting that up. Where like Kitty's gonna be in New York, and then instead of being in LA, well, maybe he'll be in LA. Maybe he'll be in LA just like Peter,
Mhm.
and they're gonna be apart. While they kind of navigate shit, but then like everything's gonna be fine because love and matchmaking, and there's also gonna be that. So I
And
think that like either
airplanes exist as they
yeah,
know.
but also like when you're busy in the
Yeah.
entertainment industry. You don't have time to be flying all the time. No, but I think it's one of those two things. Either everybody conveniently ends up in New York, or they're gonna do the LJ Peter plot line for Minho and Kitty, and it's gonna work out and be fine, is basically what's gonna happen. Because it will force Kitty to mature enough to be in a long distance, or like it started with a long distance relationship with Day, and then it's gonna end with a long distance relationship with Minho.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. What's gonna happen? Yeah, I guess Day is gonna go into music with Minho, and that'll be their adventure. I think that Yuri is gonna end up in the fashion world, so there's a possibility she ends up in New York or Paris or some shit. Day and Eunice will go to the same college and then like take over the restaurant, or they're gonna have normal lives,
Yeah,
probably.
they're gonna have the
And
most
have like,
normal life ever.
yeah, I think Kitty will sideline her Korean family because they're getting sidelined now. We're done. We've served our purpose with that family. I think that that's over. Yeah, and I think it ends with them graduating, and then like some like glimpse into the future is kind of my prediction is what's going to end up happening with Exo Kitty in one of those two ways. Those are my predictions.
I think they're all very plausible.
Yeah, I mean they're not subtle in this
They're
show,
not.
so unless they throw in some other weird character to like blow up everything, which they might. What will the drama be? Who knows? It will be relationship drama. But anyway, so that's Exo Kitty. Do you have any big gay energy awards? I don't know that I
I was
do.
struggling with this, and then I was like, you know what? No, there's a couple
Actually,
things. So I've got a couple actually. So we have the amicable breakup between Prevena and Julianna.
that's true. Yeah, that had a lot of big gay energy. I like when Julianna's like, I'm proud of us the way we handled
Yeah,
that. I'm like, I was proud of you guys too.
yeah, I
That was
love
amazing.
that. That scene was great. Jin
That
standing
was
up for
great.
Q,
Ooh, yeah, that had a lot of big gay. That might be the most, honestly.
and then my last one is just Q. He,
Just
yeah, he has a lot of big gay energy in general.
he did. I have to give it out to the Marius Kitty
Mm,
chaotic bisexual conversation.
yes.
That had a lot of big gay, and it was very sweet, mutual big gay energy. What Taylor Swift song for you encapsulated Exo Kitty season 3?
For this, I picked A Place in This World because Kitty's always trying to figure out where she belongs. And there's a
Ooh, that's
part like
good.
she says I'm alone on my own a lot in the song, and I was like, I know that Kitty's always like, oh, my friends, my friends, my friends, but she always feels like she has to do things herself and fix everyone. So it's like she's alone in the fact that like she has to do it by herself. So
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna give 22. It's gonna be my song because I'm feeling 22. Because Kitty's whole thing was like the bucket list. It was just
yeah,
like I gotta do, we gotta see the sunrise. We gotta like live it up while we can. We gotta all be together. And that's a very much like we're in a unique time in our life where we like are adults but not really, and we kind of like have responsibilities but not really, and so like let's go clubbing, let's get food, let's talk about our breakups, let's cry over boys, let's do whatever. Like that's the energy of season 3 for me, while we're like transitioning into being adults with our like end game ships and stuff. So this was kind of like a party season in a little bit of a way, because we had the bucket list thing
yeah. Speaking
and
of
a lot of
that,
characters doing new things.
that's how season 4 is going to end. It's going to be at the sunset, watching the sunset.
Mm, there you go, with the tree,
Yeah, with the
the
tree in the
symbolism,
background.
the tree in the background. All right, so that was our take on season 3. We didn't cover everything, obviously, so if there's something we missed, something you loved, wanted to rant about, please leave it in the comments below. Also, if you have any predictions
Yes.
or hopes and wishes for season 4,
What's going to
because let's be
happen?
real,
Let us know.
let us know in the comments. And until next time, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place. Bye.
Bye. And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.